So when I open WordPress, this is what I see because I have already blogs on WordPress. Yours may look a little different, but I'm hoping this makes sense. So I go up to My Sites and I click on that to get access to all the sites that I've made. And it brings just one up. So I want to get to all the others. So I click on Switch Site, and then this shows me all my sites that I've already made. And I'm going to go down to where it says Add a New Site and click on that. And now this looks a little different than, WordPress is always changing a little bit. So bear with me as I figure this out. But I want to create a new WordPress. So I click on Start Now. And I'm doing this, I'm going to click on Blog. And then they want me to enter a topic or choose one from below. I'm going to write in discussion and see what happens here. So I'm going to click on that. And this is giving me a preview of what my blog will look like on a screen or on a computer versus on a phone. Looks great. And I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Popular Culture Spring 19 Course Discussion. That's kind of long. Actually, I'll call it Course Blog. Continue, and then I can choose from a style. I'm going to choose calm. I don't know what difference it makes, but I'll just do that for now. And then my blog address, I'm going to give it the address spring 19 const 254a. And it's going to want me to pay for it. But I'm going to scroll down to where it says free and select that. I want the free blog. And again, it wants me to pay for it, but I'm going to start with the free site. Click on that. And now it's going to create my blog. And so here, it's created my blog. You can see it's up here in my sites. And I can go ahead and start working on my home page. I'm going to skip that for now, but I would encourage you to go ahead and go through that process because I think it will be a tutorial that sort of goes through a checklist of how to do it. But since I already know how to do all that stuff, I want to skip ahead to some other things. So I'm going to go to WP Admin. This is what takes me to the back-end dashboard of the site, and probably this tutorial will take you through some of the same things, but I just want to show you a couple things. So here's the dashboard, and on the left side you see it gives you access to these different functions like creating posts and managing your posts, uploading media to your media library, creating pages, which are static pages that always are on the front page of your blog, managing comments. But what I want to go down to is settings because I want to show you how to make it private. So you go to settings and you go to general, and the only thing you need to manage on general is the time zone. Because students, if you're giving them deadlines, they're going to want it to be in the right time zone. So I'm going to scroll all the way up here to Los Angeles, which is our time zone, and I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go to reading, and that is where you are allowed to make it a private site. So right now the default is public and allow search engines to index the site. That makes sense if you want to have the blog be a place where students are publishing their work to the World Wide Web. If that is not your intent, which for me that's not my intent, I'm making this as a private blog just for the course, for our course discussions. So I'm going to click on I would like my site to be private, visit only to myself and users I choose. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now my blog is private. So because this is a place where my students are going to be posting comments, I do want to do a little more work on that. So I'm going to go down to discussion and click on that because there are a couple things I want to make sure. I'm not going to require them to, so you see all these little buttons here. I'm not going to require them to fill out their name and email. They must be registered and logged in to comment. I don't know that that matters, so I'm not going to worry about that. But here, this is important. I do not want an email every time somebody posts a comment, so I'm going to unclick that. But I do want to know if a comment is held for moderation, so that means somebody posts a comment, but it doesn't go up because it wants me to moderate it first. I want to know if that happens. And so here is why that would happen. If a comment in the queue, if it contains 2 or more links, it will be held for moderation. I actually encourage my students to incorporate links, so I'm going to up that to 5. And if a student puts more than 5 links in, I'm going to get an email saying, are you sure you want to post this? I do want them to have a follow comments option in the comment form, and I do want them to have the option to follow the blog. That makes it easier for them to participate. And then this is stuff about avatars, what shows up when people post, if they haven't filled out their profile. I'm going to rate it PG, and I'm going to save the changes. So those are important things I think you need to know. Now that I've made it private, another important thing you need to know is how to get people able to post on it. So you go to users and you invite new. So prior to the starting work on the blog in your course, you'll want your students to create a username in WordPress, not a blog, a username, and send that to you so that you can invite them. So now that I have opened users and invite new, now I'm going to click on this pink button to invite them. I'm going to type in their username or the email address they used to sign up. I'm just going to type in my own here. And you can see I'm already a member of this blog, so it's not going to let me do it. But so it's going to invite them as viewers. And as a viewer, they can open the blog, they can read it, and they can post comments. And so what I'm going to do is say, please accept this invitation so you can post comments on the course blog. So this is the message they'll get from WordPress when I invite them, and then I click send invitation. I can invite up to 10 people at a time. So I would, put in 10 usernames, write this message, send invitation, and then I would do the next 10. And I tend to do this as they come in. So at the beginning of the term, in week 1, I ask them to create a username and send me that in an email as part of their onboarding and introduction process. And then as I get those, I send out those invitations. And it is a little bit fussy, but it doesn't take that long. And it's usually, we've sorted it out by the middle of week 2. What else can I tell you about this? So when you create your blog, it's got some generic stuff in it, like this welcome and your first blog post. You're going to want to edit those and make them and possibly not have all of those on there. But again, that is stuff you can kind of figure out if you follow that tutorial and play around. So let's see if there's anything else I need to tell you. And you can you can change the name of your blog. I don't think you can change the the address, but you can change the name of it. You can change your tagline. You can change the theme that you're using. So you go down to customize, and it allows you to make all kinds of changes with it. So um, yeah, so it's WordPress is a very robust system that is very malleable, and there's lots of things you can do with it. You can make it super simple, you can make it really complicated, and it does take some playing around with to get used to it. But those are the basics. And so once you've got this, you've got this URL, and you can give this to your students, and you can embed it in your D2L site. Actually, you can't embed the blog, but you can create hyperlinks to your blog for them. And if they follow it, whenever you post something new, they'll get an email saying that there's a new post. But also when they open up, if they follow it, when they open up WordPress, your blog should show up as one of their blogs that they follow. So anyway, that is the basics.